On April 14th, 1994, 7 of the most powerful men in America sat at a table before the United States Congress. They were the CEOs of every major tobacco company in the country. They were placed under oath, and they were asked a single, simple question.
Let me begin my questioning on the matter of whether or not nicotine is addictive. Let me ask you first, and I'd like to just go down the row, whether each of you believes that nicotine is not addictive. I heard virtually all of you touch on it, and just yes or no. Do you believe nicotine is not addictive?
I believe nicotine is not addictive, yes.
Mr. Johnston.
Congressman, cigarettes and nicotine clearly do not meet the classic definitions of addiction. There is no intoxication.
We'll take that as a no, and again, time is short. If you could just, I think each of you believe nicotine is not addictive. We just would like to have this for the record.
I don't believe that nicotine or our products are addictive.
I believe nicotine is not addictive.
I believe that nicotine is not addictive.
I believe that nicotine is not addictive.
And I too believe that nicotine is not addictive.
You just saw that every one of them said no, under oath, on camera, and they were lying. And today, I'm going to present the evidence to prove it with their own internal documents and with data from the United States Surgeon General. Welcome back to the series. Today, we're covering 2 industries that belong in the same conversation, tobacco and cannabis. And I promise you, by the end of this video, you're going to see at least one company on this list that you did not expect. But before we get to the tickers, we have to deal with the clip you just watched from 1994 because it tells you everything you need to know about how this industry operates. The reason those 7 executives were willing to commit perjury in front of Congress is that the entire tobacco business model depends on one fact being hidden from the public. Nicotine is addictive. The tobacco industry knew this long before 1994. Their own internal documents, later released as part of the Master Settlement Agreement, show they knew it for decades. A 1963 memo from the General Counsel of Brown and Williamson described the company as selling nicotine, an addictive drug. Philip Morris, researcher named William Dunn, wrote, "Without nicotine, there would be no smoking." A science advisor from British American Tobacco stated plainly in 1962, "Smoking is a habit of addiction." So when those executives raised their hands in a 1994 congressional hearing and they told Congress nicotine wasn't addictive, it was as if they were confused or uninformed. No, they knew exactly what they were saying. They were protecting a business model. 6 years before that hearing in 1988, the United States Surgeon General had already issued a 647-page report titled Nicotine Addiction. It reached 3 conclusions. Number 1, cigarettes and other forms of tobacco are addicting. Number 2, nicotine is the drug in tobacco that causes addiction. And number 3, the pharmacologic and behavioral process that determine tobacco addiction are similar to those that determine addiction to drugs such as heroin and cocaine. That was 6 years before those executives sat in front of Congress. This wasn't a difference of scientific opinion. It was a public health consensus that the industry was actively, knowingly denying under oath. Now, let's talk about what this product actually does to people, how it harms them. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, cigarette smoking and secondhand smoke exposure cause more than 480,000 deaths each year in the United States alone. That's nearly 1 in 5 deaths. Let that sink in. 1 in every 5 deaths in America. That's about 1,300 deaths every single day. According to the CDC, on average, smokers die 10 years earlier than non-smokers. Globally, the numbers are staggering. It's even worse. Tobacco kills more than 7 million people each year. including an estimated 1.6 million non-smokers who are exposed to secondhand smoke. Tobacco kills more people annually than AIDS, alcohol, car accidents, illegal drugs, murders, and suicides combined. This is not a product with side effects. This is a product that, used exactly as intended by the manufacturer, kills half the people who use it long term. This is why, for faith-based investors, tobacco has been the most commonly screened category for decades. The Bible doesn't mention cigarettes specifically, but it does speak directly to what we do with our bodies and what we do to other people's bodies. In 1 Corinthians 6:19-20, Paul says, "Do you not know that your body is a temple of the Holy Spirit within you, whom you have from God? You are not your own, for you were bought with a price. So glorify God in your body." And in Romans 12:1, Paul tells us, "We are to offer our bodies a living sacrifice, holy and pleasing to God." And this matters beyond personal use. As investors, when we own shares of a tobacco company, we are, in a real and legal sense, a part owner of that business. The profits flow to us because the product is sold, and the product cannot be sold at scale unless the user cannot stop smoking because of their addiction. That's not a product with an addiction problem. That's a business model of addiction. So let's name some names. There's 3 publicly traded companies that dominate the space globally. Number 1, Altria Group. The ticker, MO, New York Stock Exchange. Their US brands include Marlboro, Copenhagen, and Skoal. They also hold a 35% stake in Juul. Number 2, Philip Morris International, ticker PM, New York Stock Exchange. They sell Marlboro internationally. In 2022, they acquired Swedish Match, which is the name of the maker of Zyn nicotine pouches. These are super popular now. And 3, British American Tobacco, ticker BTI, traded on the New York Stock Exchange, ADR. Their brands include Newport, Camel, Lucky Strike, and Fuse Vaping. Altria and Philip Morris International were actually the same company until 2008 when they split. Altria got the US market, and Philip Morris International got the international markets. And don't let the smokeless vape and vaping rebranding tools fool you. Zyn pouches, Juul, IQOS, heated tobacco, these are the same companies with the same dependency-based business model, just with newer delivery mechanisms. The nicotine is still the point, because without nicotine, as Philip Morris researcher wrote in 1972, there would be no smoking. So why are we still talking about this 1994 hearing some 30 years later? Well, because cigarettes are still with us, and the advent of these new delivery mechanisms with what they call e-cigarettes for vaping are extremely popular, and the playbook is the same, an addictive chemical that causes bodily harm. And as someone who was a so-called social smoker, I experienced this industry's transformation firsthand. I remember being in college and going out to the bars where we social smoked, and we would come across cigarette girls. Young, beautiful girls carrying trays, selling cigarettes, and sometimes even giving them away for free. There were even vending machines at restaurants where you could buy a pack of cigarettes. Most of this doesn't exist anymore. But this industry hasn't gone away. They still want our capital to expand their business into new products. As Christians, we don't want to profit from harmful products. Ask yourself the question, is this business of addiction that causes harm to so many people align with my faith? Is this how we want to invest the money God has entrusted us to steward over? Does tobacco serve anyone's needs or make the world better in any way? Absolutely not. Just the opposite. So now let's transition to cannabis. This is a more recent category in the biblically responsible investing conversation. Cannabis remains federally illegal in the United States. In 1 Peter 5:8, we're told to be sober-minded and watchful. And the obvious question that follows is, do we want to be in the business of getting high? There actually is a medical use of marijuana, but unfortunately, there isn't a way currently to invest in just the medical aspect. Because cannabis is still illegal at the federal level, U.S. cannabis operators cannot list on the New York Stock Exchange or on the NASDAQ. They trade what's called over-the-counter, OTC. And the key players in this industry are, first, Curaleaf Holdings, trading under the symbol CURLF, over-the-counter. They are the largest U.S. multi-state operator by revenue. Number 2, Green Thumb Industries, which trades under the symbol GTBIF, also trades over the counter. They operate Rise dispensaries, and they're mostly in the Midwest and the East. Number 3, Trulieve Cannabis Corporation, trades under the symbol TCNNF. They're very dominant in Florida. Canadian companies where cannabis is federally legal can list on major U.S. exchanges like the NYSE or the NASDAQ. And a few of those companies are Tilray Brands, trading under the symbol TLRY on the NASDAQ. They're the largest global cannabis company by revenue, and they own craft beer brands. 2 screen categories and 1 ticker here. Number 2, Canopy Growth, trading under the symbol CGC on the NASDAQ. Number 3, Aurora Cannabis, ACB on the NASDAQ. Chrono Group, trading under the symbol CRON on the NASDAQ. They're backed by Altria with a 45% stake. Tobacco feeding cannabis. I'm sure they're going to do a wonderful marriage of the two products soon. I promised you a company you wouldn't expect as well. This is Innovative Industrial Properties, symbol IIPR, traded on the New York Stock Exchange. They're what we call a REIT, a real estate investment trust, that does sale-leaseback transactions with U.S. cannabis operators. Looks like real estate, but depends entirely on cannabis. As a matter of fact, when I came across this company, I got really excited because they have a really high dividend yield, almost 14%. And then when I went in to their 10K and I saw who they do business with, it's a bunch of cannabis retailers. The pattern you're going to keep seeing is in this series is that these industries, they don't stay in their lanes. Tobacco bleeds into cannabis. Cannabis bleeds into real estate. The tentacles, they extend further than most investors even realize. In the next video, we're going to talk about something that will hit closer to home for most of you. An industry that many Christians participate in every single day, including me, often without a second thought. We're talking about predatory lending, credit cards, and the modern usury economic system that we have in our country. I'm Brian with Palo Seco Wealth Management, and I'll see you on the next video.